Linderhof may be the smallest of Ludwig's palaces, but it is still an impressive sight. The formal gardens surrounding the house certainly have the feel of the French style of the time. To the north, the sloping ground enabled a cascade to be built where the flowing water could fall over 30 marble steps and then drop into the Neptune fountain at the bottom. At the top is the music pavilion. On the west and east sides are formal, colourful parterres with statues, fountains and covered walkways. On the south side, a golden fountain could rise up around 70 feet and stands at the foot of a 3-step terrace garden, leading up to a golden-topped temple. In the park, inspired by the English landscape movement, he had garden buildings put up, including a Moorish kiosk, which he bought in 1876. Needless to say, his extravagance knew no bounds and eventually led to his downfall. Right at the other end of the valley is one of the most important monasteries in the Alpine region, and built on the primary trade route between northern Italy and the city of Augsburg in Germany, Ettal Abbey. The Benedictine Abbey was first founded back in the 14th century, but what we see today is from the mid-18th century and built in the Baroque style. This followed a disastrous fire in 1744, when the Abbey church and many of the other buildings were destroyed. This was the beginning of the golden age of Ettal, and in this period the Knights Academy was established, which developed into a highly successful school. But all this came to an end with the secularization of church property in 1803. And it was not until 1898 that the buildings were bought back by a wealthy Catholic supporter and given to a group of Benedictine monks from a nearby monastery. A mile away to the north is Oberammergau, a town which is known the world over for its Passion Play, performed since 1634. It began because of a vow the local inhabitants made that if God spared them from the plague, they would stage the Passion every 10 years. They were spared, and since then the play is performed in the years ending in 0. The 2010 play involved around 2,000 people and lasted for 7 hours, with performances given between May and October. 60 miles to the east, on the edge of the Bavarian Alps, is Chiemsee, a freshwater lake. It's sometimes referred to as the Bavarian Sea and is a very popular place for sailing and all the other water sports. Those looking for a gentler means of travel might take a trip on the old paddle steamers, which offer a more sedate way of seeing the lake. The lake has a number of islands, and the second largest is Frauenchiemsee. The paddle steamers drop off both visitors as well as those residents who do not have their own boats to get to and from the island. The island itself is car-free and has a local population of around 300 people. Visitors in their thousands come to see the Benedictine convent, which was founded back in 782. To help raise funds for the convent, the nuns make a local drink called cloister liquor, as well as an excellent marzipan. The largest island on the lake is Herrenchiemsee, and hidden in the woods is King Ludwig's unfinished tribute to the Palace of Versailles in France. Unfortunately, Ludwig only spent a few days here, a year before he died. However, the cost of what he did build probably equates to about £70 million today. Only the central section was constructed, as all building was halted a year after Ludwig's death. The section of garden which was completed copies the style of Versailles, with fountains and parterres, as well as a long central alley or avenue which runs right across the island for well over a mile. And as the palace is on an island and only accessible by a small ferry, it has remained in the shadow of Ludwig's best-known castle, Neuschwanstein. But this island palace is well worth the trip for anyone interested in the architecture of the German Romantic movement. For our last destination, we head east into the Bavarian Alps and Berchtesgaden, a place forever associated with Adolf Hitler. His house near Berchtesgaden has been destroyed, but one mountaintop house does survive, the Eagle's Nest. It survives because it was given to him as a present in 1939, but he rarely visited it, and this lack of a close association saved it from demolition after the war. It was built by Martin Bormann on top of a 6,000-foot ridge and reached by a 4-mile private road carved into the mountainside, which goes through 5 tunnels. The cost today of just the road has been estimated at over £100 million. On the other side of the mountain, the road ends at a car park below the house, where coaches deliver present-day visitors. From here, a tunnel leads into the mountain, where a 407-foot lift carries visitors up to the Eagle's Nest. As we climb up to take a look, we discover we're not the only aircraft in the area and decide to give a wide berth to the powered hang glider. The Eagle's Nest is now a small restaurant and bar where visitors can marvel at the view, though as the clouds thicken, it is difficult to see anything. This weather also makes flying dangerous, so this is a good time to end this journey.